got my first ever RTX GPU and it was pure hell. But before I get into what happened, I want to talk about why I got Nvidia's latest GPU release, because the entire internet kinda hates it. It doesn't perform as per expected and even has some GPUs that rival it and at less prices. Now, I'm not the biggest gamer out there, I don't have high standards for high graphics, but I did wish for RTX technology, precisely for my VTuber model tracking. This upgrade was mostly directed towards switching from my GTX 1660 Super to an RTX GPU that can live easily for another 5 years and do its job. Not to mention, this is reaching a huge milestone for me, as I have bought this GPU entirely from my Twitch income after 1 year of streaming, which is something I couldn't have done without my support of my amazing community. So thank you, and a big shout out to my community, because you guys are the most amazing humans on earth. Now you may be wondering, what the hell happened? If this is not about performance? I will start by showing you guys how I did the unboxing and how I actually installed it in my PC. Exclusive VTuber handcam video. But if you're not interested in that, skip to this minute over here if you're just here for my misery. So here I just got the package from the delivery guy. I was very excited to actually unbox it. I was already prepared with a second PCI Express cable, because we need to for this little beast over here, so I was having this prepared. Here I was a little bit struggling taking the little lid off because it was extremely well packed, and I was having a little breakdown because my nails couldn't get through that, but here it was. I finally got it out. As a fun fact, this box is actually the same size as my other GPU's box. And here was the RTX, very nicely packed in a little plastic wrap. Very, very cute. I was doing a little bit of unboxing when it comes to the cards that it came with, the warranty, the thank you card, which was actually hardboard, and the little instructions sheet for the cables, which was very helpful, by the way, because I did not know how this thing was working out. I also received a Y cable for this GPU. And it was time to finally take out my PC and do the thing. And since I was taking it out, I also cleaned it, and this is your daily reminder to clean your PC, because this was only for my fans. And here I finally took it out. It was all safe and sound. It was a little bit dusty, but it's okay. But this was what I've been running on for a couple years now. Here I was installing back my power supply because I took it out so I can put another PCI Express cable in. And this was the time I realized that I was absolutely scammed with my cable management, because I actually paid around $50 to have it put together, and I was very disappointed in my cable management. But anyway, I barely reached the PCI Express cable, by the way. Then I made sure that I had both of my cables out, so they were ready to go in the little Y cable that the GPU came with. The GPU was very nicely packed with a lot of protective foil on it. It was actually very hard to do with one hand. I actually gave it up because it was going all over it. So I had to put my phone down until I took out the bigger parts of it. But I was able to take off the little plastic protective shields on the fans. It was very satisfying. I'm sorry for my terrible fucking camera footage. I'm not used to it at all. I did manage to take it out with 2 hands, obviously, and then it had the protective foil absolutely everywhere, by the way. Even on these little HDMI and DP ports had this little protective plastic stuff. And the big reveal was that I put it in. I had power, but I had no screens. No screens. So here was the entire absolute hell that was about to unleash. You guys cannot imagine the amount of stress I've gone through with this entire process. First of all, I was gaining a lot of confidence trying to install a GPU by myself, because it was the very first time I was actually doing PC maintenance, basically. Like, I've never touched a GPU in my life when it comes to, you know, installing everything. So I was very, very nervous. You guys didn't see because I couldn't record it, but my hands were trembling when I took out my old GPU, and when I put out the other GPU, I was trembling. So when I found out my PC wouldn't even boot, I was on the floor. I had information that said my GPU wouldn't be compatible with my motherboard because my PCI Express of a motherboard was at 4.0 and my GPU was at 5.0. And it was also a false information, by the way. That wasn't the case. However, I didn't know why I didn't want to boot. I had to wait the entire weekend until Monday came by so I could figure out what was going on, because I almost updated my BIOS, thinking my BIOS had some issues, wouldn't recognize 5070. I don't know. You know what's funny though? If you look back on the footage, there was this little tiny red dot that was actually lit on my motherboard, and I had no idea motherboards even have these. But it turns out that the motherboard can actually tell you which part is wrong depending on which little light lights up on it. So you have a light for FGA, which is your graphics card, your BIOS, your RAM, and your CPU. And we figured out that the little red dot was on the FGA. So we were thinking, what the hell? You got a faulty graphics card. I was on the floor. I was in hell. I was thinking, I have to fucking return it. But then finally Monday came around and I contacted support and I was asking, hey, what the hell is going on because my GPU isn't working. They told me to verify if I have the latest NVIDIA Game Ready drivers updated, and I did. And they told me, hey, you should probably change from the BIOS settings your PCI Express speed. That's a thing, and I didn't even know it exists. And turns out my PCI Express was set on auto, and for some reason my RTX didn't like it. So I changed to 4.0, and it booted. It finally booted. Jesus Christ. So for anyone curious to know my exact specs, here you have it. And yes, I know you're probably thinking, oh damn, that CPU is probably suffocating right now. What I've actually noticed with the MSI Afterburner, it's actually not that bad. It's not overworking yet, so I do keep an eye on it, and things have been going pretty smoothly so far. And if required, I will be looking for a better CPU in the future if I see that mine just can't keep up anymore. But so far, so good. So I'm eternally grateful for my community for allowing me and for giving me this amazing opportunity to work for literally providing better content for everybody here. So literally every single little dollar that I make through Twitch is always going to go towards improving my content and improving anything that can help provide a better environment and better content for you guys. So I'm eternally grateful for my community, and I'm so happy I managed to actually do this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Consider giving me a subscribe and a like if you actually enjoyed this little chaotic experience of mine. And I'll be seeing you guys very soon with a new YouTube video. So here I was I was already having prepared a second PCI Express cable for fuck's sake, shit.